My name is Chris Hadaway, and this short video is about how to buy a chef's knife. Now, when I'm buying a knife, I really look for a few things. One of those is I want a forged knife versus a stamped knife. Now, the forged knife is just stronger. Think of a big piece of metal that is hammered on an anvil to make a knife. It's just very strong. Stamp would be like taking a sheet of metal across a conveyor belt and a cookie cutter form comes down and cuts through that sheet of metal to create a knife. When I'm building a building, I want a forged steel beam to support that building instead of a stamp beam because it's stronger. When I'm driving my family around in the family car, I want that roll cage that protects my family to be made out of forged stainless steel. Another quality or another characteristic is I want the knife to be made out of high carbon German stainless steel, and not just my chef's knife, but all my cutlery, my kitchen knives, my bread knife, cheese knife, the whole cutlery set, everything I use. The reason I like the German stainless steel is because the hardness, it's the right amount of hardness. There's a Rockwell scale, and with Rhineland knives, our knives score between that magic 56 to 60 on the Rockwell scale, most of them at 57 to 58. Edge retention, that's the number one question I get asked about is, how do you sharpen a knife? I believe it's because most people don't even have one good knife at home. I know that's true because I get that question asked 100 times a day. And then the third thing is rust resistance. All stainless steel will rust. It depends on, of course, how you take care of it and what it's made out of. German stainless steel, high carbon German stainless steel is the only steel that scores the best in all three categories: hardness, edge retention, and rust resistance. I want a knife that's well balanced. You can see we've got a counterweight in the handle that does that. I want a knife that feels good in my hand. I want a knife that has no hard edges. So our bolster with Rhineland cutlery is smooth. At the heel, there's no 90-degree angle. Almost any knife, even the very high-end knives, the Wusthoffs, the Hinkels, others, they have a 90-degree angle at the heel and on the handle. Ours do not. And they look good, they feel good, they've got a great weight to them. They're just amazing. I like that balance. When chefs come up to me and handle my knives, they almost, most of the time, almost all of them close their eyes and they feel the knife. They twirl it in their hand single-handedly, and they hold it between their two fingers and they balance it. They also hold it at the bolster to feel if there are any rough edges, and we don't have that. Our knives are knives of beauty. This is a wonderful picture, but it just pales in comparison to holding that knife in your hand and actually seeing what a real knife looks like. So one more thing before we go. I am great on the grill. I make my own rubs. I make my own sauces. I'll tell you more about that later. But I stopped baking after my wife gave me, this comment. I made her some food, and she said, I can't eat that beef stew. And I said, shut up. It's custard pie. But if you want to see more about my knives and accessories, check out 29th Parallel Promotions.